What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to Tom and Joey Entertainment, a.k.a. TJENT. This is Real Talk with Tom and Joey, Game of Thrones edition. Our reactions for Season 7, Episode 5. I just had the name on the tip of my tongue.
Ooh, Eastwatch?
Eastwatch, yes. Yes, that's what Eastwatch.
Aha. We whiffed the last one.
Yeah. When we come up with, like, Dragon's Blood or something like that, and it was The Spoils of War.
That was close enough, I
yeah,
guess.
Yeah, quite off. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Prokes, and as always, joining me is none other than Tom Hazelwood. Tom, how you doing?
Good.
Just good.
Just good.
Little housekeeping beforehand. We know we were a little off with our date, how we're usually on Tuesdays, but this is coming at you on Sunday, the day of the newest Game of Thrones episode. Tom was out of state this morning on a business trip, so we had to postpone the Game of Thrones edition a little bit, but it's still coming to you on Sunday. And the last two reactions for the last two episodes of Game of Thrones, they will be on Tuesday.
Last two episodes.
I know, right? It feels like we just started.
And one's leaked, so there's really only one episode left.
Yeah, and it feels weird doing this reaction when it leaks so early in the week too, because it's like I feel like so many people have already seen it, but I've been successful at avoiding any spoilers on social media. I made the mistake of Googling an image to make up our thumbnail for this video.
Yeah,
and I accidentally put this episode 6 instead of episode 5, and I think I saw an image of something in the episode, but I don't know what it was. So
you don't. Yeah,
I'm gonna pretend like I never saw it, and I feel like that's a good strategy.
It's only a matter of time before the finale gets leaked.
Yeah,
probably get leaked tonight at this point.
Yeah,
but it's funny that this one got leaked by HBO.
Yeah,
so this wasn't a third party because the FBI arrested the guy who's responsible for that.
I did see that. That's funny.
And so HBO was like, well, we'll just one-up it. But what's also funny is they released the ratings numbers for the episodes, and as the ones that got leaked, like were released on websites, torrenting, whatever, they did better in their ratings in real life than they did the ones that weren't leaked. And I just wonder if it's because people watch it and then they're like, okay, well, now I want to watch it like for real.
Yeah. Wait, so the Spoils of War got better ratings?
That one wasn't leaked, though. Wasn't the one before that?
No, the Spoils of War, because the one with the dragon battle was the one that leaked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Spoils of War.
Oh, that was Spoils of War?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that... Oh, right.
So that one was the better ratings?
That got better ratings than the other ones.
Maybe everybody watched the leak episode and saw it was like such shitty quality.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. But when the other ones leaked before, the 4 of 2 seasons ago, those got better ratings too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was so weird because they leaked 4 at a time, the first 4. And I remember you binge
I watched them all the first night. There's no way I was passing that up. I had no idea, and then someone told me, like, yeah, I'm literally going to stay up all tonight and watch all of them.
Nothing to do for a whole month.
I just rewatched it again.
Yeah,
I was the perfect example.
Yeah, and for some reason, like, I still got just as hyped for the real episodes.
Yeah,
seeing it on HBO now.
Dude, because you watch that show, you can watch the same episode 3 times, and it's fine.
Yeah, especially this season. I don't know why, but this season it's just like above.
There's so much that goes on, yeah.
And there's just so much at stake.
And when you get stuff wrong, it's like, where did I go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, after each episode, it's like, man, I just can't wait for next week.
Yep. Yeah, every single time.
If you want to get involved on our reaction videos, our last 2 reaction videos, you can go to patreon.com/TJENT, and you can leave your reactions on Monday around like 5 to 6 p.m. If you get it in by then, because we're going to record on Monday evening. So we will put your reactions on the show, and we will react to your reactions.
Whoa.
And we'll put your name on the show, and we'll have a little fun with what you thought of the episode. So without further ado, let's swan dive into Eastwatch. First scene is Jaime and Bronn crawling out of the water, and right away, our predictions from last week's reactions could not have been more wrong with this entire episode, like multiple things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's all a shot in the dark. I still don't understand how it's physically possible that Jaime and Bronn aren't captured.
And let alone Bronn carrying Jaime through the water all the way across the lake.
Because we got it right that they're alive.
Yeah, but I got it right with the first scene of Jaime getting pulled out of the water, but I didn't think Bronn was going to be the one pulling him out of the water.
I figured that they would get out, but it would just be literally, the entire army that's sitting there going, hey,
and Drogon,
come here. It blows my mind. Part of me wonders if Tyrion just let it happen. Because Tyrion saw Jaime go in the water.
Yeah.
And saw Bronn go in after him.
How did everybody not see him go in the water?
I don't know.
Maybe they thought he just got vaporized into ash, right away.
Or he sank and just drowned.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter because he was wearing armor, so he's just going to
I feel like even then, though, they would try and fish him out and fish out his body, especially Tyrion.
Maybe.
It had to have been, if there was... obviously we know now that they didn't get caught. It had to have been they thought they just turned into ash.
Yeah.
Just like disintegrated right away.
But
that would be go the assumption that Tyrion knows that. But then
there's no way because
Tyrion knows that Jaime's alive.
Yeah, because they set up the meeting later. I
don't get that. The
just
more I
don't
think
understand.
about it, yeah, that's weird. And really, the only revelation that came out of that scene was how wrong we were, and the fact that Jaime and Bronn were talking about how much they are quote fucked because of the. And Jaime saying that was one dragon. She has two more.
Yeah.
That
Which is
scene
what
was
we've
pretty funny.
talked about the last 2 times we've done this. Is
Yeah.
just, I mean, they are going to lose.
Yeah.
Cersei is Dunzos, and they finally come to the conclusion where like, yeah, maybe we need to rethink some things because we got messed up pretty bad.
Jaime just goes back to King's Landing and is like, Cersei, you have no idea
You do
what I
not
just
get it."
went through. Seeing soldiers
Yeah, that scorpion thing.
turn to ash. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Another revelation that came from this. At least, I mean,
I don't think it's true.
because if the ball was poisoned and if they brought it up now without any sort of foreshadowing or like mentioning it at all in this episode,
Yeah.
that would be so lame.
Yeah, I think we would have gotten an inkling. So I don't think so.
Maybe they named that crossbow that to make you think, but then not actually.
Maybe. And I mean, it could just be a name too. I
Yeah.
mean, they name weapons all the time and
Yeah.
they don't mean anything. So who knows?
That's
but
true.
I
Definitely
definitely
happy about that.
well, I definitely think he is full swing back to
Oh, yeah.
basics. He's good to go
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
problem whatsoever.
Yep.
So then we go through Tyrion walking through the ash of all the dead soldiers, and then it goes to Dany talking to the rest of the Lannister soldiers and telling them all to bend the knee. And then,
Which,
as we see,
this scene was hilarious.
hilarious. Why?
Just because the second Drogon does anything, all the Lannister soldiers are like, nope, nope,
Yeah,
nope,
like
you win.
Yeah,
you
like
win.
4 or 5 of them bend the knee at first, and then he
Yeah.
just roars, and they're just like, "Yep, I'm good."
Like,
I'm all
did you
good at
not
that.
see what just happened to all your friends and family?
Yeah,
I
were you
don't.
not like right next to all of it?
Yeah, but
And is there
Dan-
have they ever mentioned something specifically about? Because I remember when they were talking about making the weapons with dragon glass, and they were talking about dragon's fire. Is dragon's fire more intense than regular fire? Have they made that reference at all
Ooh,
throughout
I don't
the
know.
show?
I'd assume
Because the way it has to be maybe like the force at which it comes out. Because especially
it vaporizes.
in this
everything.
scene, it goes on to House Tully. I forget the highest guy's name, the dad.
Oh yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember his name, but they refuse to bend the knee, and then eventually Dickon joins his dad,
Dickon.
and then they get vaporized. But the speed and like at which, because as soon as Drogon let it fire, like
They were
second,
done. Yeah.
and they were vaporized.
Yeah.
like to dust.
And the same with all the soldiers and stuff. It
Yeah,
was just,
exactly.
oh, we're in position and we're not.
To the point where they got turned into ash while still in formation.
In formation, yeah.
So it has to be that Dragon's Fire is more intense.
Yeah, I'm assuming. That's a good call.
And then they enter in. So now I figured it out since they put in the music again for when she says Dracarys. It's the music that they have, like that intense drum like number that they have, is for Dracarys and not just like for the dragons in general.
Okay.
Which is
Cool.
so badass. I love the Dracarys music in all caps. I love me some Game of Thrones music. And then I just put and then everyone goes to the knee after they see what Drogon does.
I would argue smart move.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe not the dumbest move.
Yeah.
So then we go back to King's Landing where Jaime confronts Cersei about the power that Dany beholds in the dragons.
Ooh, one thing, just quick, last scene.
Hmm.
Remember, it's Sam's brother and dad.
Yes.
So we don't know what that's going to do because as far as we know, Jon and Dany are about to get on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do, Sam comes back, realizes that Dany kills his dad and his brother. It might not be a big deal because Sam and his dad had a bad relationship. It might be a huge deal.
Did they
We
ever
don't know.
have any scenes about him and Dickon's relationship?
I don't think so.
I don't even remember them having an interaction.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'd assume that it's pretty strenuous.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, Jon supported. And Sam still doesn't even know that Jon died and came back.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam is literally out of left field at this point. He has no idea what's going on. But who knows? Maybe it starts a rift.
I think
Probably not. But
I think there's a potential for a conflict, and that's why. I mean, obviously, everything that happens in Game of Thrones is for a reason, but I think when they made it specifically that she was the cause. It's not like it happened in a battle or something where it was just like the cause of war. It's like she specifically picked them out. Well, I guess she didn't pick him out of a crowd. He just refused to bend the knee.
Right. And
So-
she gave him the option.
Yeah.
Only other thing, though, is Sam's the rightful heir.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it's for a good reason that he
'cause-
takes the throne and just pledges his house to Jon.
Yeah, because Tyrion mentioned something about taking out a house, so Tyrion must not know that Sam is a Towley, or must not know
Or-
that Sam's still alive.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe this just helps the cause.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that could be true. So then we go back to Dragonstone, or we didn't talk about King's Landing. Jaime tells Cersei about not only Dany's power, but the fact that Olenna killed Joffrey and not Tyrion.
Right. Which I still like. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, it seemed like they seem to make it a point of emphasis during the scene, like Cersei's reaction to it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like Cersei's reaction to it changed her thinking or changed her actions.
Because
at
I
all.
think that she believes him.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, he's dead, Olenna's dead, and she still has always hated Tyrion.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that all of a sudden she decides, well, Tyrion's great.
Yeah.
She still hates his guts.
Yeah, because by all means, it's not like they were best friends before that happened.
Yeah. I mean, this was a scapegoat. So we kind of talked about it before, but that revelation really doesn't mean anything. But it does for Jaime.
Yeah.
That's because Jaime believed Tyrion, but now he has proof.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the conversation was basically just, hey, guess what? We are totally mega fucked.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we can do. We should probably help them out.
Yeah. We should probably...
Or do something.
Yeah.
Who knows what.
Do something that's not fighting in this war.
And plot twist, Cersei
Agrees.
somewhat agrees.
Yeah. Not at first, but then again
Yeah.
in a later scene.
Because she she just can never say anything straight-faced. It's got to always be her idea.
Yeah.
It can never be anyone else's. So she's, oh, that's stupid. And then later she goes, oh, well, I had a similar thought. And
Yeah.
I already planned on it. So while
But
you were
I
out
don't
fighting for me...
I don't think we should do this, but
I think we should do this. We shouldn't join forces with them, but I do think we should join forces with them.
That's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
And then,
Way to
of
go,
course,
Cersei.
she's got to slip the baby
Yeah.
in there and say, oh, guess what? Which she's not pregnant. I
don't think so?
I don't buy that.
We'll address that a little later.
Okay.
So then we go back to Dragonstone, where probably one of the more important scenes in terms of the grand scheme of like Game of Thrones, like the umbrella of the story, because then we go to Jon meeting Drogon for the first time, and when he first, and I put this in my notes specifically, when he first drops down and is like crawling towards Jon,
Yeah.
that shit is so badass. Oh my god, that CGI
The amount of
is
money that's going into these dragons this season.
not to
is-
this season specifically because they're in every episode.
Yeah.
Oh
which
my
is
God.
awesome. Which is
Yeah.
probably why we saw so little of them, because they just knew. They're like, listen, guys, we're
We're
gonna bankroll it. You'll
Yeah.
get your fixin'.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Just wait.
We'll make all the money first and then just pour it all in,
Yeah.
which is so awesome. Jon then goes to pet Drogon, and then Dany sees that Drogon is letting Jon pet him. And then I put that Dany has gone officially snow crazy. So I think that this scene in particular, it just showed that. I mean, it was the biggest signal of Game of Thrones pretty much waving at you, saying that Jon's a Targaryen.
Right.
Like, there's no doubt
Right.
anymore.
But this, because we talked about, there's going to be some sign that Jon doesn't really get why he can do this. Dany's not really going to know why he can do this, and then Bran's going to come in and tell him. So this could be it, but there could be more too.
Yeah.
I mean, Jon gets burned next episode, and all of a sudden you're just sitting there going, well, he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, and it was definitely like Dany's like facial reactions when she saw him petting Drogon. It was almost like, that's a little weird, but
Yeah,
it wasn't anything like, oh,
Yeah,
you must be related
yeah.
to me or something.
Because Tyrion did the same thing,
Yeah,
essentially.
that's true.
And it was okay.
Mhm.
And there is like a conspiracy theory that Tyrion's Targaryen too, but everyone's a Targaryen apparently.
Yeah,
It's-
because the only thing with that is that Rhaegar slept around, and then they
Yeah,
thought that
yeah.
Tyrion was a bastard.
And that's why Tywin always hated him, because
Yeah.
it wasn't actually his kid.
Mhm.
But whatever. Not giving that any credit, Tyrion, I'm assuming he's a Lannister.
Yeah,
So it is possible that Dany didn't care because she knows, listen, someone else did it.
yeah.
Why can't Jon?
And regardless of whether Jon's able to interact with the dragons, she's still their mother,
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
and that she's still
And she's right there. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
maybe it's just like having a puppy.
Yeah.
A big fire-breathing flying puppy.
Yeah, like if you're okay with this, then
And I'm okay
he must
with
be
this.
okay with it.
He's
Yeah.
fine.
So then, Jon and Daenerys have a discussion, and then I forget what exactly she says, but she says something about like power or like exerting your might or exerting your power can be like ugly sometimes. But especially with the preview for this episode, they kind of built up this idea that Dany's going like batshit
Nuts.
crazy like her dad.
Yeah.
But this scene in particular, when her and Jon are talking and she asks like, you don't know how you feel about me doing what I did in Highgarden and stuff. And I think this scene in particular showed that Dany is not just batshit power crazy.
She's not going after everyone, burning everything down. She's doing the right. When she, honestly, as much as I like Tyrion, he's giving her pretty crappy advice.
Yeah.
So, and same, he even said that he wouldn't have let Jon come down to the south. As great as Tyrion has been, he's making some bad calls. And the strenuous, is Dany going nuts? It's just Varys who really says that.
Mm-hmm.
And we still don't really know what his end game is either. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they can pitch it however they want in the previews, but I'm not buying it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like we talked about before, how they previewed like a rift like they did early in the season with Jon and Sansa.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, they disagree, but it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then as much as I love like politics and diplomacy, especially in the world of Game of Thrones, as much as I love Tyrion to go along with it, like there's some times in some sequences of events where you just can't avoid having to set some dudes on fire.
Right.
Especially
yeah.
if you're in Dany's position.
Yeah, and I mean, she gave them the choice.
Yeah. In that speech before she said, like, bend the knee or die, she says, like, we want to make the world a better place. Don't believe what Cersei tells you about me.
Right.
But then
and
she sets him on fire.
And King Tarly is just, I mean, he's just a proud dude.
Yeah.
And she says, don't let your pride kill you. And it did. But what kind of message would it send if she didn't do it?
Yeah.
Then no one would take her serious.
Yeah, and like if he just says, oh, I already have a queen, then she's like, well, okay, then put him in chains. It's like, then everyone's going to do that.
Yeah.
Because they'd rather stay in a life in chains than fight for you, unless, they're going to get burned alive.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, and I thought that was pretty interesting in terms of the difference between Daenerys
she's done
and
that
her dad.
before, because when she was in Marine, they had that dude who killed one of the sons of the Harpy,
Mhm.
and she beheaded him for it.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
yeah.
I mean, she's being just, in my opinion.
Mhm.
That's just being righteous in the sense that eye for an eye, man. You made your choice. Now it's time to meet your maker. And guess who your maker is today?
Yeah, and it's not like she was walking them up in a line and burning
No.
them. It's like, okay, I'm going to make
I'm
my
gonna give you
spiel.
I'm going to give you a chance.
Give you
But
a chance.
I can understand someone also saying, oh, well, she's basically forcing them to be,
Yes,
pledge allegiance to
that's
her.
true,
So I
'cause they all bend the knee after the fact.
I can kind of get that, but it's just one of those things where I'm biased because I like Dany.
Yeah,
I think she's a better queen than Cersei, so I'm okay with it.
yeah. And Dragon's just a serious badass. So then after that meeting, they stay in the same location, but then Dany and Jorah have a reunion, and it was kind of short-lived a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
they had like the big revelation where like he came out from behind the Dothraki dude, and they had like a gentle reunion. And at first, it was kind of funny when they went in for like that hug. They got pretty close, and I thought Dany was
Yeah.
going to go in for a kiss for a second, but then
Yeah.
they just hugged, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, aside from the significance, from the literal significance of Jorah being back next to Dany and not obviously having grayscale, I don't think there was really any significance in terms of the
No,
story.
Jorah's back.
Yeah, simple as that. So then we go to Winterfell for a short time where Bran sees the White Walkers heading to Eastwatch through the eyes of the Raven. And then I thought it was pretty cool the way they, I mean, it's just typical Game of Thrones, like we said, big budget. The way they do like that, the ravens, how they fly over and then like have it from like the Raven's perspective and
And
they
the
show
eyes.
the Ravens. Yeah. And then how the Night King just looks up super quickly and
And
they
they
all
scatter,
spurs.
yeah.
The Night King looks so badass.
Yeah. I mean, I can't help but be a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just so cool.
Yeah. It's like,
Same with all the White Walkers.
yeah. And like Tanner said a while ago, shout out, it's Game of Thrones makes you love a villain, and it's like the Night King.
Yeah.
Speaking of villains, I mean, completely random, but we haven't seen Euron in like 3 episodes, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
which is pretty weird.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make Ramsay look like a schoolgirl.
Yeah, I don't know where that was. And to go along with it, we haven't seen Yara either,
No,
or Theon. Well, Theon we saw
Yeah.
confront Jon, but that was
Yeah.
pretty much it.
but oh, big bad Euron, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he has to come back sooner or later, and I'm
Yeah.
curious to see when it does
A
or when he
douche.
does. But yeah,
He could just not come back. I'd
Yeah.
be cool with that.
what if he just never? They never show
Yeah,
him
he
again. He
just-
just kind of disappears.
Cersei's like, oh, I killed him.
Yeah,
I just got bored.
and it was just like a brush over. Just like
Yeah.
they don't even talk about it. So then we go to the Citadel with Sam and the Maesters. And then the Maesters pretty much uncover the Raven from Bran, because Bran, after he sees the Night King, says to send out a bunch of ravens. And they get the Raven scroll from Bran saying that the White Walkers are coming and completely disregard it. And then Sam kind of makes the claim for Bran. It was kind of a short scene just to pretty much set up the fact that Sam was going to leave.
Yeah, because he's done being a little nerd.
Yeah. And I think the Archmaester, who was Sam's mentor,
He believes him.
I think eventually he'll be convinced, and then he'll be the one, I think,
I
spread
think
the word about the White Walkers.
I think he believes him for
Yeah.
sure. I just think that he doesn't know the severity of the situation yet.
And it's just like when John first approached Dany, it's like you tell him about this situation, they're not going to believe it right away.
Yeah, no one does.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah.
Why would you expect anyone else to?
Mhm.
It just takes time.
Yeah. And then we go back to Dragonstone with Varys and Tyrion meeting. And then Varys says that you need to find a way to make her listen. And then this is where I propose the question is she actually going crazy, or is that something that they're trying to push? And I think, I get Tyrion's attitude towards all that, especially when they emphasize the scene of him walking through all the ash, because it was his house that they were fighting against, and he didn't want to see her set a bunch of people on fire and turn people and castles to ashes, he said. But it just goes to show again that in the Game of Thrones world, diplomacy and politics,
Only gets you so far.
yeah, like you have to put your foot down sooner or later, and you have to let them know who's boss and let them know what's coming for them if they don't get their shit together.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, Tyrion.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going to go in terms of what he's going to try and convince her to do, but Tyrion does
He's kind of whipped a couple.
yeah.
At least foul tipped a couple.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good analogy for it. But he does make up later on in the episode.
Yeah.
So then we go to actually this is the exact scene. So then we go back to Dany's table, or the throne room, whatever you want to call it. And then Tyrion comes up with the plan to show Cersei, or to bring a White Walker to Cersei.
Do you
And
like that idea?
I think it's his only, because I think from Tyrion's standpoint, his main goal is to somehow, some way, to get Jaime and Cersei to not die.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he knows that, that's weird, because like it's a good plan in terms of, because we know the White Walkers exist,
Right.
but it's like they haven't even gone through a scene where Tyrion and like maybe Dany now believes in the White Walkers more because of the cave scene,
Yeah.
but Tyrion never went through the cave scene.
Right.
So it's like he's the one that comes up with this plan. It's like, oh, bring a White Walker to Cersei. But it's like, bro, you were just telling me that you didn't
Yeah.
believe in the White Walkers like an episode ago.
See, and well, he does say that he believes Jon on the cliffs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Does he say he believes in Jon, or he believes like?
Well, that's what we talked about. Was
Yeah.
I was saying that I don't think he believes what Jon's saying about the White Walkers, but he believes in Jon. But this scene kind of proved me wrong, I think, and just shows that I think he does actually believe it.
And they mention, because in the first part of the scene, Jon unveils the scroll from Bran saying that he saw
Yeah.
the White Walkers. So maybe then does Tyrion like?
Well,
oh,
and now Jon knows that Bran and Arya are alive.
Yeah.
But they kind of reemphasize the fact that he wants to go back home and see them, but he knows that they literally won't be there
Mhm.
if they don't deal with this now.
Yeah.
So it just reemphasizes again the utmost importance. Jon is under the impression that, I mean, they're just counting seconds at this point. They need to go. There's no halting. So this idea that the South is maybe going to come together makes a lot more sense, because he doesn't even care about the throne anymore.
Yeah.
He has as much reason to be pissed at the Lannisters as anybody,
Mhm.
and he's sitting there saying, I don't want to go to King's Landing. I don't want to do this. So it is still possible, now that I say this in my head, maybe Tyrion doesn't still believe in it, but it's getting Dany distracted from taking King's Landing enough where she's using her force up there, and she can win over houses in the north, brings armies, and then still come back and take King's Landing diplomatically.
And if Tyrion's goal was to show a White Walker to Cersei and have any hope of a diplomatic resolve. Doing that and distracting Dany to the point where if she does
In
help
his
out
eyes,
Jon,
it like cools her off.
yeah, and if she does help Jon, maybe he can then convey to Cersei like, hey, I'm not saying put down your arms and then we're going to backstab you in Storm King's Landing. She's actually helping to the threat to the north, and you can chill for a little bit.
Right.
So I think probably that's his main goal, but there's nothing more convincing than looking a fucking White Walker and then blue eyes.
Yeah. It's weird to me because, I mean, you're talking about going back to the most hostile place in all the world.
Yeah.
And how do you take one of them?
Yeah, I don't understand that goal. Like, how do you...
I don't know how
'cause they're
they
not,
got
like,
to that
alone.
idea.
They're never alone.
Yeah.
They're always in that huge
And,
army.
and to me, it's, why don't you just go up, talk to Bran, who can look into your eyes and convince you that he knows everything.
Yeah.
So why doesn't he go talk to Cersei personally and just say whatever that
Say some random fact that
Yeah,
only
she
he would know.
and then all of a sudden she's on board and
Yeah.
says maybe he's got a point.
Yeah.
Go to Jaime, do the same thing. Go to Bronn, do the that's
Convince somebody that she trusts.
because Bran has already done it for other people. Why
Mhm.
wouldn't he just do that
Yeah.
with more?
It definitely... Because that idea and the general idea of bringing a White Walker to King's Landing, that was just such a huge
Yeah.
curveball.
Yeah.
Like, that was never something that I
No,
would have thought would
yeah.
actually happen.
And Bran can warg into somebody else too
Yeah.
and just talk as them.
Yeah.
Do it.
Morgan to Cersei.
Just warg into something. Warg into a raven, send a note saying, listen, I can explain everything.
Yeah.
Give me a meeting. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I think that's a way safer plan.
It's definitely safer. It's
I don't know how
definitely safer.
realistic it is,
Yeah.
but I don't see how that's any more unrealistic than, oh, we're just going to hop the wall and capture the thing that we're absolutely terrified is going to murder us all. Like
Yeah.
you're going into
Eliminate mankind.
you're going into the lion's den. Oh, the White Walkers are going to come and eat our faces. Let's go exactly where they are and try and take one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Especially Jorah. Jorah volunteers. He's never seen a White Walker before in his life.
Yeah.
Let alone he's
but
going
he
to walk
just-
up there.
But he just knows.
Yeah. Freezing his ass off.
And I do think we'll talk about it in the last scene, but it is interesting why he went to go.
Yeah. It's definitely like he just gets there and it's like, oh yeah, let me go and fight the scariest thing that's ever appeared on this earth.
Ooh,
Yeah.
no grayscale.
Ooh, look at me.
Dude, he was in the yard, so I mean, maybe he just got
Yeah.
yoked and he's
Yeah.
not scared of anything
Got a
anymore.
bunch of prison tats.
Yeah.
So then Jorah volunteers, like I said, and then Jon says that he's going to leave, and then Dany says that I haven't given you permission to leave, and then Jon talks about like that he doesn't need it, and that like it's his almost like, I mean, paraphrasing, it's like his destiny to go up, and I'm the only one.
It's funny because he says, I trusted you, now you trust me. I guess that does make
Trust
sense.
a stranger, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, he just went off a whim. But I kind of wanted to be a little bit more on the, did you really trust her, though?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what you really, I guess,
To an extent, because he came there, like gave up his weapons.
yeah,
like,
and did everything and just believed her and
Yeah.
listened to her and stayed. So I guess, but to me, that speech made it sound as if he was just this heroic statue of a person. Oh, I gave up everything. I risked my life to be here.
Yeah.
And I just kind of want to be, yo, you were with Dany.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, from our perspective, it's like, dude, you were never in any
danger
whatsoever.
ever. But at least we see chemistry between them.
Yeah, because Dany listens to that speech and it's just like she's falling head over heels for Jon in each episode. Like it's like they're building up.
Yeah. Same with Jon. Are you still standing true though that they don't bang? Because I'm still holding fast.
I don't think they do.
They're definitely gonna build it.
Yeah,
I never doubted that.
the feelings are there. I think.
Yeah. Oh, they
Between them.
Yeah, I totally think that they're falling for each other, but I don't think it ends up happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
There's just no way.
because you've addressed the fact that they are related, and
Yeah.
now, especially with a later scene, that he is a full-blown Targaryen.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you can set up a story like that
Yeah.
and then forcibly have them
And he's going
hang and
north.
get married. Yeah,
So now he's gone.
Mhm.
So for all we know, they aren't going to see each other for a while.
yeah, till
And
next season probably.
So we don't know.
Yeah,
But I mean, we don't know.
yeah,
We just don't know.
that's
But
true.
one quick aside, I don't think it's going to happen, but there is a ton of incestuous relationships in the Targaryen family. And if
Oh,
I
really?
remember correctly, Dany's parents are brother and sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, I would. Someone will fact check that for me, but
Yes.
I'm almost positive that that's the case.
I remember hearing something about like Targaryen inbreeding of some kind.
And it's like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's out of the realm of. But she wants to break the mold anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
Break the wheel.
she went the unbent.
The unbent. The
But-
breaker of chains.
I just still don't. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think it happens either. But we saw Dany a bunch of times. No Missandei this whole episode. I
Yeah.
just realized that as
Yeah.
we quoted
Oh,
her.
and also one quick thing: where the fuck are the Unsullied and Grey Worm?
Yeah.
Can we get any update on where
yeah,
they?
even an update. Yeah,
Well,
you don't have to have an
anything?
extensive scene.
I mean, they don't even talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. They
Are
totally
they
like,
just sitting there? Because my theory was that they're just in the castle manning it, and now Dany can go get them. But now,
yeah, and what am I saying? We mentioned Euron. That's where Euron is.
yeah,
No update in 2 episodes.
The
That's
fuck?
weird. That's weird.
I would assume that the Dothraki are on their way over there to go get him.
And it has to be like maybe the season finale. Because I mean I haven't seen the next episode, but I imagine it's all just north of the wall, or like
Yeah,
it's all
'cause-
just Night's Watch.
And we just don't know the timeline of maybe these things are happening at the same time. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you watch a movie and you switch between characters, they're still happening at the same time, but you
Oh,
can only
you're
see
right,
one
yeah.
at a time. But I feel like days have passed, and you would think at some point, you know what I mean, they don't have food.
And our initial hypothesis was the reason why they knew that Jaime was at Highgarden, and the reason why they went there was because to bail out the Unsullied.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
But-
but they don't even. You're right. They don't even mention it.
But they very well could be going there, and we don't know.
True.
So, or maybe part of the plan to get them out is to bring the White Walker, and that's going to be smooth sailing.
Yeah,
Get
maybe.
it next 2 days? Let's Amazon Prime it,
Yeah.
deliver that White Walker down, and then boom, we're good
Send
to
it
go.
over with a drone.
Yeah, no big deal. Thanks, Bezos.
Easiest buy.
And then Grey Worm, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, you too. We'll just get everybody with drones. Yep. So then we go back to Winterfell, and this is the most confusing part of Game of Thrones to me at this point, because we go to a scene where the Knights of the Vale, and then I forget, because he's another lord. He's like the second tier
You're right,
lord
yeah.
next to Jon, but I keep forgetting his name. But him and the knight from the Knights of the Vale kind of rag on Jon and say that, like, they want to support a Stark, and then they wanted to support her, and that maybe they shouldn't have supported Jon in the first place, and maybe it was a mistake. And then Sansa gets Jon's back.
Can I get one quick little thing?
Sure.
Can they suck a dick and fuck off?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Can I
like,
say that? Is that all right?
No one, and we go back to this again and again, no one knows the threat of
Yeah.
the White Walkers except for
And
Jon.
Can the North just survive, a couple weeks without Jon there? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it's not like
They're such snowflakes, literally, because they're in the North.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Nice. But it's like she has dragons. She has this gigantic army, and the White Walkers are a legit threat that could eliminate
Yeah.
all of us. I don't care who's in power, who you support, whether it's Jon, Sansa, or Littlefinger. You're all gonna die
At this
if Jon
point,
doesn't do what he's
you're
doing.
right. The Battle of Bastards didn't happen. Nothing ever. John's never done anything good.
No.
So
he didn't dive into the middle of that pile of
He
bodies.
didn't sprint after Ramsay by himself.
Yeah, or with Giant and Tormund, but still.
No, at first he just took the horse.
Oh, yeah, you're
and then
right.
just went off to save Rickon. He didn't do that. He definitely didn't go north of the wall. He definitely didn't bring the wildlings to peace.
Everything that Jon done
is perfect.
Yeah.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
and they just shit all over him, and it's like good for Sansa
Yeah.
for just being like,
Fuck off.
yeah,
He
relax,
knows what
guys.
he's doing.
He
Shut
knows
up.
what he's doing. He's the leader.
Yeah. He's
I'm
doing
just
what's
here
best
in
for all of
place.
us. And I questioned him. And guess what? I still think he's doing the right choice.
Yeah.
Kind of. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
But shut up.
Yeah, just stop talking. But then
Just shut your mouth. Just
yeah,
shut up.
Just shut up for a second.
Shut up for a sec.
Shut up for a second. So then they go to Sansa's room, and this is where Sansa and Arya have the conversation. Arya is all about that. She mentions like if they didn't have heads, like it wouldn't
yeah.
work with, because Sansa was talking about how Jon needs their army, and it's like, Arya, that shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like just cutting off heads because you want things to be done. Like,
Yeah.
do you not know how Joffrey and like Cersei and all those people have delegated and ruled? That shit does not work.
No.
Chopping off heads does not work. And then Sansa brings up that's the only way, or like doing what she did is the only way that you work with people and cooperate with people. And it's like, fuck yeah.
Right.
Because that's what you have to do. You can't just
Right.
chop off heads.
Yeah.
Look at Rob.
Yeah.
If Rob swallowed his pride.
Rob and Ned both made mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what Sansa brings up. So I'll give her kudos for that line.
Yeah,
but
definitely. But I just don't know why they're starting this riff between Arya and Sansa. And I get that they weren't friends when they were younger, but that was almost like sister, like feuding and stuff. But then they bring up like they've always been like arch enemies. Almost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think that for her perspective, she thought Sansa was basically a Lannister because she spent her entire life in King's Landing.
That's true.
And she was married to Joffrey.
Yeah.
And then now she's saying, "Oh, I learned a lot from Cersei." And Jon makes that quick aside, "Oh, it almost sounds like you admire her."
Mm-hmm.
And so from Arya's perspective, she's probably sitting there going, I wonder if you really like them.
And that whole scene with Nymeria and Joffrey and like the butcher boy or whatever.
Exactly.
That whole scene. But I just feel like after all that time, because
after all you go through, just kind of
and they initially had like a happy scene when they were down in the crypts, like they were smiling, hugging, like talking about good times.
I mean, it just comes down to I think that they're both different. They're different people.
Yeah.
Just shut up, get along.
And
we've waited so goddamn long for this moment. Don't fuck this up for me.
I know we wait so long for these reunions, and then they just end up being like Jon and Sansa, hands down, was the best reunion.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's
so far
probably the best because it was the first one.
Well, because Jon and Bran, Jon's gonna come back and meet Windows PC 98.
Yeah,
he's not gonna care.
This is Jon. Ooh, there you go. What memory do you think Bran brings up? Probably him and Ygritte.
Oh, really?
In the cave.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be him dying.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. What am I saying? Yeah, that would make way more sense. I know that you banged Ygritte in the cave. No.
So you like caves, Jon?
Yeah.
I think he'll bring up dying and then just, oh, by the way, you're not a Stark.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
Yeah. By the way, you're a full-blown Targaryen, not even a bastard.
Hop on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then we go to back to King's Landing with Tyrion and Jaime meeting, and then Bronn sets it up.
Another very questionable decision, I might add.
The gigantic, another one of the curveballs.
Let's put Tyrion in the middle of King's Landing. Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Nothing bad could possibly happen from that.
Initially, when Bronn and Jaime were coming down to the basement where like Qyburn initially showed Cersei.
Yeah, what did you think? Because I had my own idea.
100% thought Bronn was going to show Jaime that the arrow was somehow poisoned.
See, that was my first exact thought, and then I was like, well, maybe they have like a new improved version or something along. I definitely thought it was something to, oh, guess what? We're about to kill this dragon.
Because that basement.
Yeah, and it goes right by Valyrian or Balerion.
Yeah,
it's Valyrian steel, but the dragon's name Balerion.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Shut up.
Yeah, damn you, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they are the worst at naming the dragons. Yeah. That's a total
dragon. Change the A to an O.
Hey, cool. Drogon.
Sick.
Awesome. That is great. At least it beats Smaug. Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, whatever that was.
Anyways, back on track.
Yeah, but I totally thought.
Yeah, same
totally
here.
thought I was like, oh, there it is.
There was about 0, I would say negative 1,000% actually, that thought, hey, no, Tyrion's going to be there.
Yeah, Tyrion's going to walk up.
Yeah, and it'd be no big deal.
Not even
and
close
then Bronn
is my thought.
Being a badass again, I'll let you two catch up.
Yeah, I fucking love Bronn so much.
He's so great.
So then we go.
And then Jaime and Tyrion have their hash out. And it shows exactly what we said. Jaime doesn't like Tyrion, obviously, but they still have something there.
Yeah.
Because he at least listens to Tyrion and doesn't chop his head off. He's pissed, but it's enough.
And Tyrion and Jaime has, like you said, they've had this previous relationship, and Jaime is not a dumb guy. Like, when Tyrion explains, like, and especially with all that emotion that he carries with it, when he explains that the fact that Tywin wanted him dead, even though that he didn't do anything, and he knew he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I think they had a connection there, and I put it in my notes. And I think eventually, no matter when it is in the show, I think at the end, Tyrion and Jaime will be on the same side.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I think that riff...
Because you still think that Jaime's going to kill Cersei, right?
I think so, yeah.
So I think that would provide support for the idea that Jaime converts to the other side. Because Tyrion's definitely not going to join Jaime and Cersei.
No.
But... because you would die.
Yeah. I definitely do think, though, that this grand strategy is a way to hopefully try his best to have them survive.
Yeah.
In whatever capacity it is.
Right.
Just in general.
Even if it's just you're no longer on the throne. Whatever. Yeah.
So then we go to the streets of King's Landing, where Sir Davos meets up with a long-awaited return.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know what season. Maybe it was 2 that he took the rowboat that Davos gave.
For some reason, I was thinking 1, but it probably was 2.
Yeah, definitely. It was like
Early.
towards the end of season 1, if anything, and like the beginning of season 2.
Yeah, it was
It's
early.
Definitely been a
It's
very
been a
long time.
time.
And I thought it's just a funny like question about this scene. It's got to be weird for the actor because it's like you shoot a scene 4 years ago, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah,
You're almost remembering Davos as Davos.
yeah,
because
exactly. And it's like,
Oh,
all right, yeah,
hey.
we're ready to bring you back to the show. You're gonna reappear
Yeah.
as like one of the. I mean, your last name with
Yeah.
being Baratheon. I mean, it's one of the bigger names in the show.
Right. And
So,
he's
like-
a good dude.
Yeah,
Gendry's awesome.
yeah. It was definitely. One of the questions I wanted to ask you was, what do you think the significance of like bringing him back is?
Ooh, I have a total thought, and it has to tie with Jorah, but let's wait till they all are together
Okay.
at the end.
Because my only thought is, yeah, well, okay, we'll save that. The significance conversation for later. And then just the confrontation on the beach. Clearly, Gendry knows how to use that fucking badass hammer. That hammer is
cracking
so
skulls
sick.
right after the way. Davos is doing everything he can, and finally just gives up, and
Yeah.
looks at Gendry and goes, all right, well, that's one way. Let's leave.
Do it your way. And then
Yeah.
Tyrion's like, he'll do. He'll
Yeah.
do just fine.
Yeah.
So then we go to back up to the Red Keep, and Jaime and Cersei have their second meeting. But then it has to have, and I might be thinking too much of this, but usually Game of Thrones always has significance in something. The fact that Cersei and Qyburn were talking,
Right before.
and then
Yeah.
and then they even go an extent.
They brush it off.
Yeah.
Because again, there's still a part of me that was going, maybe that tip is poisoned, and
Yeah.
Qyburn's letting her know.
Because he smiled when he walked by Jaime.
Yeah.
But then, and they even had the tail end, because they had, when Jaime walks in the room, you hear the tail end of their conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is the significance of that?
Yeah.
Because if there was none, Cersei would just be sitting in a chair when Jaime came in.
Right. I don't know. Well,
Qyburn's got to have something up his sleeve, and
I'm
nervous about it.
He definitely does. The only thing is, I will say, it could just be like director's choice of, we just want to make sure the audience members know, okay, Qyburn might be taking the place of Jaime, and Cersei doesn't give a shit.
Oh, okay. I see.
And so then later, if Cersei and Jaime get in a riff, it kind of makes sense because as a viewer, you're going, oh, well, Qyburn was in the meeting and
Yeah.
blah, 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 and things add up on each other. Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, so it could be just like a symbolism of them securing like a more tighter of a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're
Like
saying.
basically pushing Jaime out.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I hope.
Yeah, you hope. I hope that Qyburn's not up to something devious.
Yeah.
Um,
Great character, though. Qyburn, great character because he fucks with your face
yeah,
quite a bit.
Yeah, he definitely is a sketchy motherfucker. So then Cersei knows everything that is going on, so he tells Jaime like that she knew about the meeting that she had with Tyrion, and that she agrees that she's down for a ceasefire, which is another curveball.
Well-
I totally did not think that of all people.
She said that she had a plan. She
Yeah.
already thought of this.
Yeah,
I definitely think that she's setting up a meeting for just a full-blown slaughter.
just like an ambush
Yeah.
of some kind.
Of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be. There's nothing that's
because
never
she
not up
she
Cersei's
even
sleeve.
she even says that she'll go down with a fight every single time.
Yeah.
There's no possible way that she gives up the throne and just goes, oh, whatever.
And she does say immediate interest.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe right now.
Right, exactly.
But
I think that plays better for the idea that either Euron just when at some point comes back and fucks everything and destroys everyone's hopes and dreams, or he turns on Cersei.
Yeah.
Because if he's sitting there going, well, if you want to work with them, I'm just going to work with them now.
Yeah.
Because I was going to before until I got paged in. So fuck you.
That's true. That's good how they bring Euron back. And then I think this conversation, Cersei agreeing to the ceasefire, pretty much sets up the fact that King's Landing is going to be the last battle of Game of Thrones
Yep. Probably.
of next season.
Probably.
That's what I would think, unless they just go next episode all White Walkers and then the season finale just flip the script
And then go right back.
to
Yeah.
King's Landing.
Because
But
again,
I
mean,
just don't see that happening.
we're still waiting for that episode 9 death, and I just there's a small part of me that goes, maybe Dany, Tyrion, and who knows, because we just don't know where Jon's at.
Yeah,
Jon's probably not going to make this meeting. Probably not.
probably not. No.
I'd assume. I don't know though.
Because Jorah's bringing the White Walker to Cersei, right?
With Jon.
with John?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
all the whole group's going together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew they were all going up there, but was the plan that they're all going to also go to
Oh,
King's Landing?
I see what you're saying.
Because I was curious in who was going to bring the White Walker to King's Landing because I thought that was Jorah.
Yeah, I think it will be.
Because
That's
I think
true.
out of everybody,
true.
Jorah has the least amount like against.
Yeah,
Cersei.
yeah, that's true. I was just thinking because if they want to do a ceasefire, they obviously have to be together at some point.
That's
Like,
true.
I mean, there
Yeah.
has to be some cordial meeting, right?
Yeah.
I'd assume.
Yeah.
So if that happens, I could see Cersei just, hey, Mountain, crush Dany's face in the last episode of this season.
No shit.
And let everyone cry themselves to sleep.
Yeah, and that's another person that we've been missing. Like we haven't seen the Mountain
Yeah.
really since the Dorne that they tortured the
Yeah.
Dorne queen and her daughter. But I don't know, maybe because we've seen Cersei multiple times, and, not
And
the
I mean,
Mountain.
I'm no science man, but I'm pretty sure if you get your face smashed in Oberyn style, you cannot get resurrected by the Lord of Light.
pretty sure you cannot. Although Beric Dondarrion, or however you say his last name, the Hound put a sword quite a bit through his body, and that dude was able to bring him back.
Yeah, but his head was intact. That's the
true.
only thing.
Maybe it's like a zombie.
Yeah,
to the point where,
because
like,
you
you
have
have
the
to have your head.
wound, but as long as you have your head, you're good.
That's true.
You're not like eaten alive or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And then obviously Cersei revealed that she was pregnant, and you don't think it's real?
Nope.
No, I don't think it is either.
I mean, it's perfect because now she says, "Oh, Jamie, it's yours."
Never,
But-
and then she drops that, never betray me again.
Exactly. Just manipulating him. And guess what? What happens when Jamie finds out that she's not pregnant and he goes, "You would fake a pregnancy?"
Doink! Cersei, you're dead. Yeah. At the hands of your baby brother.
Yeah. / baby brother lover.
Baby brother, lover, baby.
Dude. Manipulator. Lord of my army. Weird.
All above.
Weird.
All the above. So then we go back to Dragonstone where Gendry meets Jon for the first time. And then I put, like, is the relationship between the houses because their fathers were such good friends.
Yeah, they were boys.
Yeah, and they talk about, they reference that, like John says that I grew up on stories of them together. Maybe that's the biggest significance. Like they almost want to bring it like bring everybody full circle to the point where it's like at the end of the show, those houses are still banding together.
Well, and Jorah's dad fought with Jon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I
The
mean, you have
Night's
this.
Watch.
You have this synchronized. Okay, I'm a bastard. I'm the last of my name, and I had grayscale. He was. Sir Jorah was also shunned by his family
Yeah.
for disgracing them. So you have all these people who basically are still living based on the last names of their families, and they don't want any part of it. Same with Dany.
Yeah,
Dany
that's true.
I mean, that theme of it's just a name.
Like
Who-
start our houses over
Who gives?
almost.
Yeah, and the idea of I want a new world. So maybe if we do work together, it all is okay. Because guess what? I'm not going to pay for the debts or the battles that my parents fought because they didn't want me.
Is that what you were talking about earlier with Jorah?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Okay. So then, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a very long scene, but it was just pretty much solidifying that Gendry was going to go up and be part of the Suicide Squad. So then they go back to we're still at Dragonstone, so they go to the beach where everyone says their goodbyes. And then sexual tension between maybe like Jorah and Dany, but maybe just more on Jorah's side.
Yeah.
And Dany's like,
Bing.
you're just like a really good friend.
I'm gonna miss you so much.
Such a bestie.
Kisses.
Yeah, and then John comes. She's like, "Oh yeah."
She's like,
"Give me some of that snow."
I'm gonna miss your drag. I'm my drag. I'm gonna miss you.
Miss you. Yeah, because then when
Did John look at me when he walked away? Did
yeah,
he look at me?
tell me, did he look at me?
Do you look at me?
Because then John says that you're not going to deal with the King of the North, and then she says, "I've grown accustomed to him," and it's just like I don't know if maybe it's just me thinking it, but every time that they have a conversation, they emphasize just like I don't know, maybe they're just phenomenal actors and actresses, but Dany's like eyes and her facial reaction, even when she's talking to John, like or
Yeah.
listening to him, you can just tell there's
Yeah.
something in those eyes
Yeah.
that are just head over heels.
Yeah, I agree.
But hey, you're related.
Remember that.
Remember that.
Find out.
Yeah. Remember
out.
after you find out.
Yeah.
So then they go back to the Citadel, and arguably the biggest revelation that the show itself has ever expressed to the viewer, and
they just didn't.
brush it over.
But I mean, that's kind of classic Game of Thrones because you can go back and watch episodes where they make little comments
Mhm.
and then, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. So maybe that's just their way of doing it.
Yeah. So if you don't
The
know,
one scene where I'm rooting for Gilly.
yeah, right, yeah. And I was watching this scene, I was like, man, this scene is Tom's actually gonna like a scene with Sam and Gilly
Yeah.
in it, because if you didn't listen, or not listen, but if you didn't hear what Gilly said, paraphrasing, Gilly pretty much said that Rhaegar was actually legitimately married to Ned Stark's sister, and that they legitimately had a child. So Jon Snow is no longer a bastard. He's no longer a Snow. He is a full-blown Targaryen.
Yeah. There's no
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
No bastard. He has
Yeah.
a mom, dad, annulment,
Yep.
or they made the annulment, because annulment means that you end the marriage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that Rhaegar had an annulment
Well-
and then went to Dorne to marry Lyanna.
Yeah. You
Okay.
can get like an annulment is the idea that the marriage never happened at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
A divorce is we are no longer married, but we were married at one point. So
Okay.
in this case, an annulment means that our marriage is completely wiped, and everything that comes along with that no longer means anything.
And that's what makes Jon a full-blown Targaryen.
I mean, theoretically,
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. According to the records of Game of Thrones.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, gigantic revelation, and they kind of brushed over, but like you said, maybe that's kind of just the way Game of Thrones
Yeah.
wanted to do it.
Right.
And then Sam steals the books that he needs and goes back to the Citadel, and like I said, steals the books, and then he makes into the wagon, puts the books in the wagon, and then gets ready to leave. Do you think he's going to the Night's Watch or Winterfell?
Ooh, I didn't even think of that. That's a good question.
Because Sam knows that John's at Winterfell. Because he initially, when he sent the Raven about all the Dragonglass at Dragonstone, he sent it
it's
to
from
Winterfell.
so he doesn't know he's left.
Yeah.
Right. Because I was thinking, yeah, because John goes to Dragonstone.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So Sam probably assumes that he's still at Winterfell. So you think he goes to Winterfell?
Well, he knows, he told them about the Dragonglass at Dragonstone, so he probably assumes he made moves of some sort. So I'm assuming he probably thinks that he's at Winterfell and he'll go there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And then Sam looks at the centerpiece of the Citadel, and maybe this was me thinking about something else, but I remember you talking about something with the symbol of the White Walkers.
Oh, the circle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the symbol that they made with those body parts in the first episode of the first season.
Yeah,
the
the
first scene.
spiral or whatever.
Is that in the Citadel? That symbol?
I don't know.
Because when Sam is getting ready to leave the
I know
Citadel,
what you're talking about, yeah.
and he
but-
turns around and looks up,
Yeah.
I swear that symbol that he looks up at, and they show it to, it's not like one of those scenes where he's looking back at like the life he could have had and looking at like the whole
Right,
of the
yeah.
Citadel. He makes a point that like he kind of like closes his eye, or like scringes his eyes a little bit and then looks back and looks at that circle, like the symbol in particular. And I was just wondering, because it looked like the
Maybe.
symbol that the White Walkers made.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that was just like a revelation in his head that maybe something clicked, or maybe he'll remember that
Right.
later on. So I thought that was interesting. And then we go back to Winterfell, where Littlefinger leads Arya on a wild goose chase. And this is what I was kind of thinking earlier, to find the message from Sansa that eventually that Arya finds. So then he first talks to a random girl, and Arya, this is where they first introduce the scene. This is where Arya's first looking at Littlefinger. Talks to a random girl, then he talks to the Knights of the Vale and that other lord that I keep forgetting his name. And then he talks to the Maester of Winterfell and says,
Thanks
Lady Stark thanks you for your service.
Yep.
And he absolutely knew that Arya was sitting there.
Right, yeah.
He
And
said that.
He's not dumb.
Yeah.
He's Littlefinger.
Yeah, because it's like almost like Arya thinks that she's outsmarting him, but
Yeah.
you can't smart that dude.
I mean, that's kind of been a flaw in Arya's character, too.
Yeah.
She's kind of thought she was more badass than she was.
Mhm.
I mean, great fighter, but even with Bran got some swings on her
Yeah.
with training as to be basically a faceless man.
Or Brienne, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I was
okay.
saying. Yeah,
Okay.
because when they were like sparring and stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, she
Okay.
got a couple in early, but then
Yeah.
Bran starts fighting, and guess what? You're knocked on your ass.
Yeah.
And then you go to train to be a faceless man, and you think you're hot shit. Got your ass beat.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And not to
Don't-
mention the sneak factor of the many-faced gods. Like,
yeah.
you're not as good as that you thought either.
Don't bite off more than you can chew.
And definitely do not underestimate Peter
Littlefinger.
Baelish.
Yeah.
That dude is clever and schemy as fuck.
He probably doesn't even know at this point what he's doing.
What he's doing, he's
He's
just
sitting
trying
in the
his
mirror
best.
going, I'm trying to figure you out.
Yeah. I hope you do this, but then again, do I? I don't know.
I know. I think of everyone at everything at all times,
Everyone's a friend and everyone's an enemy.
all the time.
And then
Many times.
the message that Arya found, I'm going to read it here really quick. They wrote it out because I remember reading an article and it's like, we know that you tried to pause the episode and tried to zoom in on the scene to read it. So the full text of the message that Arya got from Littlefinger's bed is as reads, Robb, I write to you with a heavy heart. Our good King Robert is dead, killed from wounds he took in a boar hunt. Father has been charged with treason. He conspired with Robert's brothers against my beloved Joffrey and tried to steal his throne. The Lannisters are treating me very well and provide me with every comfort. I beg you, come to King's Landing, swear fealty to King Joffrey, and prevent any strife between the great houses of Lannister and Stark.
And go with your first thought.
Yeah, so this was from Sansa, obviously addressed to Robb
Yeah.
because she puts that in the first sentence. But this was after Ned was killed, and then while I think it was before Robb got to the phrase, right?
Well, this was before Ned was killed.
Oh, what?
Because it says.
Oh yeah, because father has been charged with treason. That's
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was just sending this message because Cersei told him to try and get Robb to surrender.
Yeah, because if you remember, but way back in the season, there was in the first season. I mean, this was Sansa's way of just saying, "Hey, drop to your knees."
Mhm.
Because even when she was on stage as Ned was getting killed, she was smiling, and Joffrey was saying, "Oh, I'm going to show mercy."
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So she thought she had it figured out. She
Mhm.
was good. Nothing's going to happen because she did love Joffrey. She wanted to be queen.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
So,
yes.
I mean, this was her way of trying to basically, I want to be queen, but I don't know what to do. I love my family, but just play along.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like to an extent I get Sansa's point of view because at that point you're in King's Landing, you're
What
surrounded
are you
by
gonna do?
him. What else
Yeah.
are you gonna do?
Yeah, there's no way.
And I feel like Arya to an extent, I mean, she already has this like bad grudge against her.
Yeah.
And especially going back to season 1 with that whole interaction with the wolf and the butcher's boy
Right.
and Joffrey.
So you think this adds to their rift?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I do too. Because why would he let Arya see this message?
Mhm.
There's a reason
Or
why.
want her to because clearly
That's what I mean. Yeah. Why would he want her to see just that? Because that, to Arya's perspective, Arya, it's family first.
Yeah.
She hates the Lannisters. So if she views that as Cersei Sansa helping the Lannisters in any way, she's gonna be pretty pissed.
Yeah. But I just don't. And
It's
this
tough though because
It was so long ago.
and I feel like I mean I'm on your page. It's just kind of one of those things where just get over it.
Just let it go.
And I really don't think it's not a situation where she was basically at that time. Robert Baratheon was the king,
Mhm.
and they didn't have a problem with that. Their family and the Starks family got along great.
Oh yeah.
Joffrey was going to become king, obviously, because in this message, now Robert's dead.
Yeah.
So Joffrey's going to become king, and Sansa's going to become queen. Of course, Sansa's going to tell Robb, just, hey, bend the knee.
And with Joffrey saying like that he was going to show
Yeah.
mercy and like
Yeah,
everything was
that's the
going to be
thing.
fine.
No one, she didn't know he was going to do that. And Cersei didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I really,
no one did. He
I don't
did that on
see-
his own.
I'm assuming this just increases the rift between the two,
Mhm.
but I almost don't see how, because I just don't see it as that big of a deal.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't. No, it really shouldn't. But it almost has to be because they made it such a point of emphasis, and Littlefinger made sure that Arya saw it.
Mhm.
Which, again, Littlefinger's endgame is just to put his place, and I feel like he's just putting out all the big guns.
Yeah.
And he's just saying, tried with Sansa, not really getting anywhere. Tried with Bran, definitely not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Arya, hell no.
No.
I need her gone because she's going to kill me.
Yeah. Or I need something between the two to get Sansa to trust me more.
Yeah, maybe. I just think he wants Arya out.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I don't think he trusts her. I think Arya wants to kill Littlefinger, and he knows that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the rift. I just want everyone in the Starks.
Especially
to
for
just
Littlefinger,
fucking-
when Littlefinger provides no benefit.
Yeah.
So it's almost a waste.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
almost
Stark
like,
reunion, but Littlefinger's gonna fuck it up.
yeah, like he's almost there
Dope.
just to scheme
Yeah.
and to be clever and to make you hate him because he's going to start
Such
a
a
rift
dick.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So then we go to the final scene where Jon arrives at Eastwatch with the Brotherhood. And this is something I missed. It was kind of not anything in significance really, but Tormund brings up Brienne. I don't know if you caught that the first time.
Yeah. Did you bring the big lady?
The big lady, yeah. I totally did not catch that the first time I watched this episode, so I thought that was hilarious. But it also gives me a notion that Tormund, if they brought up something like that, Tormund is going to survive. That's my hope.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That they drop that little egg to say, like, okay, he's going to be fine. Because if they reference in the same thing as, like, there's no way that Jorah or Gendry dies. It's like, you don't bring back, like we talked about the actor come back after 4 seasons, like, hey, you're going to come back.
And then we're going to immediately kill you.
And then the next episode, you're going to die. You're going to die. So Jorah, Gendry, and Tormund, I think, are going to be the ones that survive. So then they go down to the prison, and then they meet Beric,
the other Bannerman, the Hound.
Yeah, and the Hound. And then Beric gets up to talk about the Lord of Light, and then Hound says, quote, "For fuck's sakes, will you shut your hole or we come with you or not?" And it's just like straight up, no bullshitting around.
Yeah.
And then Tormund figures out that Jorah was the son of Mormont. And then Gendry kind of goes against the Brotherhood, and then Jon his dick just keeps getting bigger and bigger because he's like, we're all on the same side now. And he's like, why do you say that? Because we're all breathing. Just like, poof.
Yeah.
Jon's just a baller.
But
all right, make a claim.
Well, because the theme behind all of this is the fact that everyone needs to work together to survive. So enough is enough. We've killed each other. We either make the choice to stop it now or we keep this bullshit up forever. Same thing happened with the wildlings. At some point, something's got to give. You killed us. We killed you. Someone's got to be the bigger person and just say, you know what? My family did die by this guy, but he was just doing that because that family killed his family.
Yeah.
And someone has to cut the mold and say, we're doing this differently. The new world's only going to survive and be different if we make it different.
So many damn grudges.
Right. And it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
So this idea that you can have 6 different last names all working together, and now they're all going north of the wall to basically just off each other's whim.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of theme triggers the South in, okay, well, now Cersei's going to work with Dany. Maybe it does work out because maybe they all start to realize, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
We just want to survive, and that's all that matters. And maybe this was the right move to get that body down in King's Landing, because maybe this proves Jon's point this entire time that we're going to bicker and bicker and bicker, and we're all going to fucking die.
Yeah.
So I think that those specific characters being together is just symbolism of fuck last names.
Yeah.
I didn't kill you. You didn't kill me.
And
oh well, we're both here for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
And they go to the scene. The next scene is Jon and everybody walking out of the Night's Watch and walking into the distance. And it's like Jon saying, "We're all on the same team because we're all breathing," was the last line of the show.
Yeah.
Even though they had like 5-10 minutes left of the show. Or left of the episode. So I definitely think that you're totally right that them banding together and kind of forming, like everybody's running joke is that it's like the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But them forming that and banding together and saying, like you said, fuck last names, just everybody for everybody, is definitely a huge significance.
Yeah. And it's the theme throughout the entire season. Oh, I'm Dany. I'm not the Mad King. Mm-hmm. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm a bastard, but I'm really a Targaryen.
Yeah.
Okay. The fact that all these people have these last names and they're all basically shunned by their own people at some point is not a coincidence.
No. Yeah, you're right. So there you go, everybody. There are reactions for the full episode number 5 of season 7 of Game of Thrones, Eastwatch. And now we're gonna move on to our Patreon supporter reactions. And remember, if you want to get on a show and you get on our last 2 reaction videos for the last 2 episodes of Game of Thrones season 7, go to patreon.com. No L in there. What's the slash what?
TJENT.
TJENT. And if you donate $1, $2, $5, $10, we're running a special throughout the last 2 weeks of Game of Thrones.
$1 billion.
$1 billion. That'd be cool.
I would be pumped.
Get Bill Gates as a Patreon supporter.
Him and Buffett.
Yeah, there we go.
And Musk and Bezos.
Dude, we'd be good.
I would argue that I'd probably stop doing this.
Yeah, probably.
No,
I just talk to them.
I would do it because that's all I would do.
That's the only way you can keep the money.
Yeah.
So run a special. If you donate $1, $2, $5, or $10, you can post your reactions by 6 o'clock on Monday evening after the Game of Thrones episode.
Get them read.
and you'll get
Let's
yourself
go.
on the show.
And you only have 2 more chances to do that. So.
Yes, you only have 2 more chances. So then our first response is from a common supporter, Connor Gartland, frequent Patreon supporter and frequent reaction giver. Shout out. Says, overall good episode, nice build-up episode for the next 2, and that's what we discussed. There's not a lot of action in this episode.
But I liked it better than 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Where it was just kind of bleh.
Yeah, it was just like all the villains doing good, and it's like, I don't want to see this.
Yeah. This was a hype video.
Yeah,
This
that-
is an
that's
hour-long
a good way to
hype
put
video,
it,
yeah.
especially with how they ended it with them just walking
Yeah.
off. And when I was watching it initially, I totally didn't realize the time of the episode. So when they were walking out, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, going to see the White Walkers. And I saw the credits, I was like, oh.
Oh man.
So he says, I thought Danny burning Sam's dad and brother was savage, but necessary because she has to keep her word, like we said. Arya is drastically underestimating Littlefinger, and I hope she doesn't get burned by him for it.
Yep.
Which we also said, and I hope does not happen because Littlefinger's an asshole, but he survived this long purely because of his
He has no
manipulation.
talents whatsoever. He has no skills.
Besides manipulation.
I mean, physically.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can't fight.
No. That's why he does it. Him, Varys, and Tyrion. They know how to do things. Gendry is back, and that fucking hammer is awesome. I think somehow he's going to learn how to forge Valyrian steel with Dragon's Glass.
Well,
and
we got to assume that they all did that. We
Already?
didn't talk about that, because
that they brought it
because
like,
they already
plenty of
started
weapons.
mining it. Yeah, they're not going to go north.
Yeah.
We're going to go catch a White Walker, but only John's going to be able to do anything ever.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that they all do.
Yeah. But they made like an emphasis like after the battle. I think when Davos first sees Gendry again, like the scene they have from the camera behind the sword of him like shaping the sword.
Oh yeah.
So I think that was like a little significance foreshadowing where they're like Gendry's big significance.
He can do that.
Yeah. Like he's gonna forge badass swords.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah,
that's a good point.
I'm under the impression that they all have Valyrian steel.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying
dragon
like
glass
future.
weapons. Well,
Yeah.
dragon glass because they can't make Valyrian steel,
That's
so they
true.
can make dragon glass stuff.
Yeah. Good
Which, I don't know if we talked about this last episode, but the rumor on the street. So, Valyrian steel kills White Walkers,
Mhm.
and as well as dragon glass that we know of.
Well,
But-
you use dragon glass and then use dragon's fire to make Valyrian steel, correct? They're not
No,
two separate
they don't
things.
know. They don't know. Yeah, they're two separate.
So they're
things.
mutually exclusive.
They are, but this is how I understand it. You have dragon glass, you have Valyrian steel. No one can recreate Valyrian steel anymore because no one knows how to smith it.
Okay.
Maybe Gendry does.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Maybe
they brought it
that is a good point. But we know that dragon glass can still do just as much as Valyrian steel. The difference is that Valyrian steel was reforged by Tywin when he made those swords, and one ended up with Jaime, went to Brienne, blah blah blah. But the idea is basically the Night King is the Superman of all White Walkers, and essentially the conspiracy theory is that normal Valyrian steel isn't even enough.
to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they need super duper Valyrian
Super duper
steel, which is
Valyrian
just
steel?
interesting because what do you do?
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. There's no way in hell that once the Night King like dies, whoever kills the Night King, everyone like of the army is gonna fall.
Yeah.
Like there's no way there's anything
Because you
around
can't.
that.
How do you kill
The
everyone?
entire army.
There's
set everyone on
everyone
fire.
that's ever died in the show in the North is now a part of the undead.
But dude, even if you think about it though, that whole army of White Walkers, especially when they're all together, dude, 3 dragons just fucking like
Line 'em.
glide,
Yeah, just line them.
just all the way down.
But there is a difference between the undead and White Walkers technically.
oh really?
Because you have like the horsemen or whatever, and then you have the undead people underneath them.
Okay, so
you have like the generals and they're White Walkers.
they're White Walkers.
Yeah,
okay.
and then you have the army of the undead underneath them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which doesn't really matter. It's still the same thing.
Yeah, but it's just how people dress.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense. And the last thing he says, someone from the A team is going to die north of the wall, and I think that's
It has to happen.
yeah, it has to.
It's Game of Thrones. They're not going to give you everything you want.
Yeah, exactly. So then we go to our second Patreon supporter response, T Stu. Pretty sure he's been on every single episode this
Attaboy.
during this series. So
Love that shit.
shout out to T Stu. He goes, love the lore bomb that John is a legitimized true-born Targaryen, but hated that hashtag fuck Gilly stuttered through it. Why do you think the producers chose to deliver the news like this? And that's what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
It's because it was almost like in
Little-
typical Game of Thrones
little
fashion.
nugget.
Yeah.
Catch it, and if you don't, fuck you.
Yeah. And then it's almost to the point where, like, with social media, even if you don't catch anything, and it's
Someone-
like,
yeah.
there's so many things that it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
All right.
oh,
Yeah.
oh. Just go through
And Sam
the
couldn't
list.
keep his goddamn mouth shut.
Yeah, exactly.
Gilly's sitting there solving problems of the world and
Yeah.
saying, you know what I'm really pissed about? They don't
work so
fucking
hard.
believe me.
They don't listen to me.
I clean shit.
You talk about shit all the
I
time.
got home to this dinner.
You burnt the food. I'm just upset.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm just upset. Then he says, so dope that Gendry's carrying around the Baratheon name and the legacy with the Warhammer. So the Warhammer is a Baratheon thing, correct?
Yeah, right?
I think so.
I thought so.
Yeah, that's like a
It is.
a Baratheon thing.
It
We'll-
is.
We'll just go with that.
We're gonna
Solidified
Yeah.
fact. Not too sure how it'll hold up against the Horde of the Undead, though. Do you think it's a Valyrian steel hammer?
Well, I think that he can like smith dragonglass into it.
Okay, so you think that hammer can kill
I
White
think
Walkers?
whatever the Suicide Squad has,
Every single one of
every
them
single one of them
has
can
a
kill
weapon
it.
that can kill.
Because there's just no fucking way that they're going. Like, it's already a dumb idea,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
Why would you go there basically saying, okay, well now we can't kill them?
when you have access to the stuff.
Yeah, because you know what kills them now.
Yeah.
So,
You got to assume.
I have to assume.
Yeah, that's a good point. So then, last thing he says is the hype for next episode is real. Get ready for some big deaths. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both the last sentence of our first two responses were somebody's gonna die.
Yeah.
So then we go to our final Patreon supporter, another consistent supporter, Adam Plumstead. Shout out. Love him as a Patreon supporter. He says, solid episode, but it's hard to follow up that crazy shit from the last
Yeah.
episode. It's probably why they neglected with the action, because last episode was so
I think
intense.
the next two are gonna not be fun.
Yeah, just be super duper intense.
Either be. No, they're not gonna be fun.
Fun to watch, but like,
it's just one of those things where I'm just waiting for episode 9 to happen, and I know it's coming.
season finale is going to be so
'Cause
epic.
I-
It's going to be like 90 minutes.
As long as John's alive, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't think he's the savior.
I hope.
Fire and blood, or fire and ice, dude.
Fire and ice.
They're
Fire
not-
and blood.
Dragon's
Dragon's
Dragon's blood. I think that's what the episode was called.
Fire and dragon's blood.
I can't believe we got that so
Oh
wrong.
god, dude, we struck out so hard.
So hard, and with our predictions too. And then
Ours weren't that bad.
just the beginning ones. Like, well, I mean, I guess you could just say the prediction, like what would come after our predictions,
Well,
because
'cause
the
we-
act of Jamie and
That's what shaped
getting
everything,
captured,
and
yeah.
I still don't understand how that happened.
it's almost like a physics problem.
Yeah,
like you get the
yeah.
first one wrong, and then everything else is
Yeah,
wrong.
exactly.
So that's a good point. Then he goes, he thinks that Barrack is going to be the one that dies north of the wall.
And then get resurrected again.
Yeah.
He's died 6 times.
Yeah. He says the little piece gets taken out each time.
Yeah.
And he says the A-team's going to have some fun. Sansa and Arya will get mad, and then Bran will fix everything. And then Grey Worm...
I mean, that's true. Bran could honestly just amend everything.
yeah, or just say, like... Or just explain everything that happens.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You could just go to Sansa and say, Littlefinger did all this, and then go
Arya's
to
coming
Arya
to kill
and
you.
say, Arya did all this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I think Bran will definitely be the one to mitigate.
God, he could do so much, and he's not in the show.
I know. Then he said Grey Worm returns, ? And that's what we talked about earlier. It's like, where the hell
What the fuck?
is our boy Grey Worm?
Yeah.
You go from going down to Missandei to not being in the show. That's
And
just not cool.
No one talks about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he even mentions it. You're right. And then he says, finally, I miss Ghost. And I do too.
Oh,
because it's been
man,
5
yeah.
episodes and not a single peep.
And when
From the wolf.
when they leave for the wall, I didn't see Ghost with him.
No.
So where the fuck is he?
Yeah. And well, I guess if you're John's perspective, you wouldn't want to take him to the battle.
I guess because he can't
He
do
has some
anything.
Valyrian steel teeth.
That would grills.
Yeah. Valyrian steel grills. That would be fucking epic.
Oh god damn it.
So there you have it. There are our Patreon supporter reactions. Remember, if you want to get involved in our last 2 episodes, go to patreon.com/TJENT and post your reactions before Monday at 6, and you'll get yourself on the show. So finally, our coveted Game of Thrones power rankings.
Yes.
And I don't remember. I think I started when we did it with Ian last
Yeah,
time.
because then Ian, me, and then we just.
Yeah, you're
Yep.
right. So you go first.
All right.
Who's your number 5?
Number 5, newcomer, Jamie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not even a fan of Jamie.
All right.
But him
Showing some
putting
Lannister
his
love.
ego aside,
Yep.
taking the meeting with Tyrion, and just telling Cersei, listen, it's over.
Yeah.
It is over.
I'm not sugarcoating shit.
I'm not going to try and tell you that this is winnable,
Yeah.
even just for my own benefit. It is Dunzo's. He's being smart because they are fucked.
Yeah, that's a good point. My number 5 is Gendry.
Yeah,
Just because
Gendry.
I mean, honestly, I just put him on 5. I had a little trouble. My first 4 weren't. I didn't have too much trouble with that, but at 5, I was kind of going between a few characters, and I was just like, that Warhammer though, it's just
Gendry's
so
awesome.
badass.
I
Yeah,
love Gendry.
he's just a badass.
Yeah,
Like especially because
very unpolarizing character as well.
yeah, because when he tells Davos like, oh, so you're here to bring you back, and then Davos is like, look, I'm gonna explain. He's like, nope, let's go.
Nope,
I'm ready.
No, let's rock.
Let's-
I've been
I'm-
waiting for this my entire life.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Ready to go. So yeah, that's
He,
why
he basically has that stick with the sack and all the old cartoons.
yeah,
and
oh,
it's
yeah.
just, all right, let's go.
yeah, the traveler sack.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his gigantic Warhammer. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like
that's
2 shirts.
yeah, right. So yeah, mainly the Warhammer, but that's why Gendry's my number 5.
Dough.
Number 4.
Number 4, similar trajectory, Bronn, because he set the meeting up.
There you go.
So he gets a little bit more than higher than Jamie because, I mean,
And
and he
his,
saved Jamie. So he set up the meeting and saved the person who set up the meeting for. So
yeah,
hey.
and then his line where when he says when he talks to Jamie at the beginning of the episode, when he says like, you're not the one that's gonna kill you, Dragon's like, I'm gonna kill you if anybody kills you, and then he says,
Yeah.
Dragons is where our partnership ends. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not down with this shit, dude.
Yeah.
You can take your castle and your gold. I'm
Yeah.
good with my life.
Bronn, who I really want to know if anyone doesn't like Bronn.
Yeah, like you said,
'cause
least polarizing character.
Yep.
Such a baller. My number 4 is Sansa, mainly because Sansa.
That was close. I almost put her up there.
Really?
But this is the first time because Sansa really pisses me off.
Yeah, you're not a fan.
No, because she's not a very good leader.
Yeah, but honestly,
She thinks she's way more badass than she actually
her
is.
delegation skills.
This episode was
exactly
spot on.
and that's why I put her in my
Yeah.
4, because not only was she backing up Jon when the other guys were coming at her, she stood her ground, like not even like acting like she was questioning her decision to
Right.
like back Jon. She was just matter of fact, and she kind of put Arya in her place.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell would you
Yep.
think that I'm trying to be against anyone?
yeah.
So her being a good delegator and kind of putting Arya in her place, which I hope doesn't become anything.
Right.
But that's why she's number 4.
Though.
Number 3.
Davos for setting up the
Nice.
meeting.
Yeah. For setting up the meeting.
I really like that meeting. So
Yeah.
and also Davos's interaction when he was paying off the guards as they were leaving.
Every
was
interaction with
fucking
Davos is awesome.
hilarious, dude. Just those silver-tongued devils, man. It's just he
Pop a
is-
hole in that chain link.
Yeah, dude, he was perfect. He is perfect. Always will be perfect. Gets Gendry sick.
Yeah.
Brings him back, and then basically just says, "Yeah, go up north. That's
Yeah.
cool."
Yeah. Just come with me.
Yeah.
We'll go take out some White Walkers. So my number 3, as much as I hate to put him on here, my number 3 is Littlefinger, because he is conniving as fuck. He has made it this far. He put Arya right into his little hand. Like
Better character, Littlefinger, Cersei.
I think, I don't know, with how clever Littlefinger is and how he's been able to
Do some like everything with nothing.
yeah, because as much as I like Cersei as a character, she's been on one side the whole time.
Yeah.
The fact that Littlefinger's
And
been
she
able to
has her last name because she
Yeah.
was married to the king
yeah,
and a family of royalty.
yeah, and
King's Landing her entire life.
Littlefinger came from nothing. He has jumped back from both
Mm-hmm.
sides, and the fact that he's been able to survive this long and connive
And have
Arya,
no bodyguard.
yeah, none, and get Arya to do exactly what he wants, and sets up this potential rift between Arya and Sansa. That's why he's my number 3. As much as I
Okay.
don't want his tactics to
Unfold.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, number 2.
Number 2.
Wait, who are your 1 and 2?
My number 1 would probably be number 1, but my number 2 might be different.
Okay, so my number 2 is Dany.
Okay, yeah, it's not my number 2.
Okay. Which she didn't have that big of a role in this,
Yeah.
but she's still open to this idea of maybe we all just get along.
Mm-hmm.
Kumbaya. Let's go south. Because I'm starting to buy the fact that maybe the South can come together.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, we proposed that idea. Like, is there any
as a
chance that
joke,
Cersei
yeah.
and all that
And
band
as a
together?
joke,
It's
and
like,
even
no
earlier
way
in this
hell.
episode, just because I didn't want to say this until now, we were saying, "Oh, there's no way, no way." It could happen.
Yeah.
It very well could. The theme, like I was saying, of who gives a fuck about what happened in the past? Let's just make a new world and live in peace and harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it happens.
And maybe the baby is real, and maybe that's why Cersei changed her mind. And maybe that's what her and Qyburn were talking about.
Maybe.
Because what's a pregnancy test back then? It has to be something that Qyburn comes up with, right?
Maybe.
Aside from not bleeding.
I don't know. I mean, Kyber, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things.
I don't know. Who knows? I would put money on it not happening.
Yeah.
Still, but there's
Just because it's Cersei.
But there's still a shred of 5 to 10% of me that's kind of going, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it does happen. Who knows?
So my number 2 is Tyrion. He shot up quite a bit just because of the fact of his plan of bringing a White Walker to Cersei. Because regardless of, and having the balls to go back to King's Landing and meet with Jaime.
Yeah.
So that plus the plan
He's the
in
only
general.
one of that meeting that I didn't put on. It's just because if anything fucking happens to Jon because of that plan,
Yeah.
I'm killing myself.
Yeah.
On air.
Just ending it.
Yeah.
On air, right here for you guys. So aside from his fuck ups with Castle Rock and Dorne and
those
Greyjoys.
weren't his fault.
No, yeah,
because
they were just
they
leaked.
could have done anything
Mhm.
and it wouldn't have mattered. It's just the fact that Tyrion keeps on trying to get her to do something that she just let her ride,
Yeah.
and let her go to Highgarden, which he didn't want her to do.
Yeah.
Let her do exactly what she did. Let her burn the Tarleys. Who cares?
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, why he was so high is because he definitely made up for the fact, whether it's to eventually save his sister and brother, he made up for the fact with coming up with that idea, because he came up with that idea and then they just ran with it and
Right.
says, let's fucking do it.
Okay. They're like, wait. Oh, well, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So number 1, we'll do it in unison. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Jon
Cersei.
Snow. Whoa!
No. Yeah, Jon
it's
Snow
it's
again.
JS
Yeah.
again. I mean,
We don't even need to talk about it.
yeah, he is dick lengthening quotes each episode.
And he always makes the right move.
Yeah. And
So.
it's just the way Kit Harington is a great actor.
Dude.
He's one of my favorites for sure.
Man crush for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And maybe just and complete side note, if you haven't seen 7 Days in Hell, the
Oh,
tennis
man,
documentary
yeah.
with him and Andy Samberg, I highly recommend watching that.
Yeah.
That shit is absolutely hysterical.
Yeah. What a guy.
And it's funny seeing Kit Harington in a different light, for sure.
Yeah. Something funny too.
Yeah, exactly. And such a switch black and white role
Right.
from
Yeah.
Jon Snow.
Exactly.
So you have it, everybody. There are our Game of Thrones power rankings, and I think Jon Snow is number 1. Is that every episode for you?
It's gonna be every episode.
And I think it's maybe every episode for me except for like maybe 1. I think the villain episode I put Cersei.
There's
as
just
number
no.
1.
I mean, the only way that he'll be maybe the Night King, because the Night King's so goddamn awesome.
Yeah, and just the like.
There's no way,
referencing-
dude. If he lives through the rest of this show, I'd bet $1 billion that I put him number 1 every
Yeah,
time.
every time. Just
He's been my number 1 from the get go.
Yeah.
What's gonna change now?
yeah, the Night King when he looked up at the Ravens like. Really
Unless the
quick,
Night King
so
kills Jon,
badass.
in which case, oof,
Yeah.
wow, I wouldn't be happy.
That'd be pretty epic. I'm waiting for that one-on-one battle. That'll
Yeah,
be sweet.
it'll happen.
So you have everybody. There are our reactions for Game of Thrones season 7, episode 5, Eastwatch. I forgot that 3 times.
Dragon's Blood, Part
Dragons,
2,
Yeah, Dragons.
The
Yeah,
Quest for Peace.
The Quest for Peace. Here on YouTube.com/TJENT every single Tuesday, or at least 2 more Tuesdays,
Yeah.
we're gonna drop our Game of Thrones reactions for the
Gross.
semi-final episode and then the season finale. If you want to be a part of our episodes and get your reactions on the show, go to patreon.com/TJENT and get your reactions on the wall, posted before 6 o'clock on Monday, and you'll get yourself on the show.
Hey,
Cheers to the last 2 episodes of Game of Thrones, and hopefully we don't see you again crying.
yep, it could happen. But
It
we'll see.
definitely could happen. We'll see you guys next time.
Later, guys.
Peace.